Hello golfers, today I'd like to discuss the evolution of the golf swing, specifically with respect to the various swing styles that have been used over time by the top players in the world, and ideas from which have then trickled down to us lesser mortals. So many years ago, according to one research paper, the swing that was the predominant one used was called the classic swing. It required much more movement away from and towards target, and it also required an equal amount of backswing movement of the shoulders and the hips, otherwise known as the thorax and the pelvis. It also allowed the lead heel to lift off the ground. And then with the advent of golf instructors and their getting a little more prominent role in the development of the top swings of the world, many ideas came together and the modern swing was developed. So the modern swing required golfers to have a far greater forward flexion of the entire spine and then rotate the shoulders around that forward flexion. It also required golfers by the top of the backswing to have less weight shift than with the classic swing, and it required golfers to have minimal pelvis rotation with maximal possible thorax rotation. So this is what it looked like, and it resulted then in the downswing that golfers had much more lateral flexion of the trail side in the downswing, as well as a huge rotation of the pelvis followed by that of the shoulders. So this served to make the swing a bit more complicated. It was more compact, but there were many more movements to be made in that small space. And then as the professional teachers got more and more of a role in the handling of the swings of the top players, they went to some of the scientists who did research on the golf swing, keeping in mind that all research in biomechanics of golf swing have been to do with speed development, and there is almost nothing on how to improve accuracy and how to reduce injury risk factors. So they went to all these researchers and got ideas for what to add to the modern swing. Also, that was the same time that technology had a big boom, and then there was the advent of a lot of launch monitors, a lot of pressure mats and force plates, and together all of these influences added on to the modern swing with some specific movements. There was a lot more up and down movement of the body, which was easy to measure on force plates and pressure mats, because it added to the vertical lift, which would supposedly increase speed in the swing. It was also easy to measure the center of mass movement away from target, which was supposed to add increasing frontal plane torque and improve speed. And then it became known that the shallowing of the shaft was important. So the easiest way that golfers were able to get the shaft to shallow was to have a very quick rotation of the pelvis while keeping the thorax not so rotated close to impact. And then this all led to a measurement of the rate of closure of the shaft. So people said that if your trail side is more forward and down close to impact, your club face will not rotate shut so quickly and you will get better direction. Now all of these have been a mix and match of ideas and do not necessarily give you, the individual golfer, the best combinations of positions and movements based on your needs. Suppose your need is to add to the speed of your swing. There's two ways you can achieve that. You can either increase body mass and with it your strength and speed, which takes hours of effort every day, or you can simply retain your existing speed and improve the centeredness of contact of your club with the ball. To do this, you need to cut out any excessive movement that you have side to side, up and down and round and about, and that gives you more chance of arriving at the same spot on the ball. After all, if I run back and try to run up and hit the ball like a Happy Gilmore, I may or may not get the same spot, sweet spot on the club face every time. Then if you want greater direction, you're told to shallow out the shaft and have a quick torso rotation to achieve that. Many golfers simply cannot do that, and even if they can, as the top players do, they still have issues of direction, and that is because you are trying to manipulate the arms to drop in from behind, but you don't manipulate the shoulder socket. It's very important to position your torso in place, not just the arms superficially, but the torso to get an inside path, which is what you need for direction. So, from this angle at impact, your trail shoulder should never be on top of the trail toe or in front of it. It should always be slightly behind, and that will give you a truly inside path for a more consistent direction. And finally, if you want to avoid low back pain, the three main positions you need to avoid are excessive forward bend of the spine and a lot of side bend during the downswing, combined with a lot of early opening up or rotation of the torso. Of course, you might be a golfer who wants all three. You want better distance, you want better direction, and you want less loads on your low back, so you play pain-free golf. And why not? That's the fun of golf, right? To be able to hit the best shots you can. And there are certainly positions and movements that one can have in the golf swing if one knows how to manage them to give you all three things that you need.